Hello everyone, and welcome to this last and third video about the Exchange migration. My name is Jesper Black, and I'm looking forward to guide you through this last part here. We have to, as I told, work with the third part, and the step we have to continue it is this down here. We will start with the coexistence. What we will do here is to take a look at the virtual directories and change this to have the correct names where they are going to, and it's also about the, what do we call it, the OutlookAnywhere. We have to set that up anywhere. Yeah, the next step, I think we all know what this is about. It's about creating the databases for Exchange on the new servers. We have to move the old ones to the new ones, so that will take a while in a real production environment. I don't think we have that much data here, but yeah, we have to do it anyway. So after that, we will migrate the mail flow to Exchange. This part is all about that we have to be sure that the DNS records is correct for the new 2016 Exchange servers. We have to take a look at our load balancer for incoming mail from the internet, and we also have to take a look at the outgoing sending part. We have to be sure that we can send to the internet from the new servers. So that's all about that. And last step is to clean up all the old things, remove the certificates we have copied, remove the old Exchange databases from the 1330 and 2030, sorry, and yeah, remove the server and get rid of that. So that's all we have to do here. So let's take a look at that and start with the virtual websites and OutlookAnywhere to change that kind of directories there. So let's go and take a look at the virtual directory and the settings for the URL and see how they are right now. We can open, I have prepared this script or the command lines as before. Exchange migration here, and if we go down to the coexistence, we can see that we can take a look at the setting as they are now by running this part here. So let's run this and see what the settings are, and we will let it finish and come back and take a look after that. So all of the commands were finished, so let's take a look. Here we can see the internal URL has the computer name, and of course we want to have it for the mail.blackout.dk, and we want to change that in a moment. And if we take a look at the other parts, also have the server name, and if we run this against the second Exchange server with 2016, we will see the same thing. So yeah, actually let's try to see what can we do to change all this. And again, I have prepared the command here because we do the same thing. We you take a look at the Exchange server and set the parameters after that with a pipe to the server we are getting the information from. And actually these commands are pretty long, so I think we should try to see if we could change them so you can read this one here. Yeah, you have to use this backtick, or what we are calling it, to tell it to continue on the next line. And let us do it again here. Is it a tab, or yeah, we can just tab this for the next command. Let's do it all the way. We can go through the commands after that. This is only for making it readable for everyone here, so we can see what we are doing. Actually, yeah. Can we do it so? Yeah. So let's focus on this part. We want to change the OutlookAnywhere. We want to change the Exchange control panel, the Outlook Web Access, the web service. We want to change for ActiveSync, this other OBA, the MAPI, and so on. And we get the server we want to change, and we set the parameters after that. So you can take a look at the OutlookAnywhere as here. The internal host name we want to set it to, the external host name, the kinds of authentication methods, and down here at the Exchange control panel we want to set the internal and the external URL again, and that's the same thing on most of the commands here. So let's try to run it, and I think it will take a few minutes for us to have them all set. So let the command run, and I will pause the radio meanwhile and return after it has finished. So the command was finished. The only warning we got was this one here, that we have changed the URL for the Exchange control panel, so we also have to do it on the Outlook Web Access, and we have actually done that with the same command, so everything is fine. Sometimes we won't see as much here. There's not much information about the command, so I can recommend to use the Bose command sometimes, and it will hopefully give some more information on what is happening with the commands and the execution of this. So sometimes do that. Use the Bose command. What we have to do now is to do the same for the second Exchange server. Just change the server name on all the commands. They have to have the same URLs, because they both answer on the same setups. I couldn't remember what this was for. It's actually the offline address book, so yeah, just be aware of that. Yeah, run the command again. After you have done that, we can take a look and see if everything has been right and all the URLs have been changed to our preferred URL for our Exchange environment on the new 2016 servers. So run this down here. We do that also and come back and see if it is changed. So it's actually finished setting up the second server also, so let's try to take a look at the settings we have configured. I have changed the settings view a little bit. I have selected the precise information we want to have. So let's take one at a time and then run this view on the OutlookAnywhere and see what it is saying. And actually the external and the internal host have been set as we want to, and the Exchange control panel, let's see how that will be. Actually we don't have to view the metabase path, but you can do it if you want. So again, yeah, we can see it has changed as we want to, and just continue. Here we can see the Outlook web access if the virtual directory have been changed, and again it was fine. So you can continue it viewing this and to ensure that everything is fine, do the same on the second server, Exchange server, and verify that everything is great. So it seems to be. So here I will take a look on all my services for both servers, and we can continue with our Exchange migration. So before we are creating the new database, I want to tell you that you have to restart some ICE Internet Information Service to have the auto discovery for the mailboxes to work immediately after you have been setting up the virtual directories. So actually we have to go to Exchange-1-16 there. Yeah, just let's use the Exchange install user. Yeah, if you have a plan about restarting the servers, this should actually happen at that time. But if you don't and you want to have it to work immediately, you have to restart the server. I just show it here to you on one of the servers. Let's have this up and running. First, take the Internet Information Manager and at the application pool we should see that there should be this MS Exchange Auto Discovery. Where do we have it? Auto Discovery App Pool, and this has to be recycled or restarted, or we are calling it. Yeah, just be aware that start, stop, or recycle. So make this on both servers, and that should help the auto discovery to work immediately. So remember that. but we want to continue with creating the new databases, and actually I have prepared again the PowerShell commands here that we can run locally on our clients. We have to tell it which server it wants to use, what the name is on the database, where it wants to place the database file and what the name of the file is, and where we want to put the log files. So let's run the first command here to create a new database. It's created, and let's do the same on the second one. Call it db02/16. And there it's also created. After that we have to mount the databases. So it is hosted by the Exchange server. Yeah. And the second database. And after you have mounted the database, you have to restart the Microsoft Exchange IS service on both computers. So you can do the command here, where we are piping it to the restart. So let's do that. And when we have this up and running, we can see, if we get the Mailbox databases, that it has created this 2 default database, and we want to delete this. We have to use the remove Mailbox database, and after they have taken the database down, we have to delete the files on each server. But before deleting, maybe you want to be sure of that there isn't any mailboxes inside of that. That shouldn't be. It's have just been created when we installed the 2016 Exchange server. But maybe you want to be sure of that there isn't any system mailboxes. Remember that this is the arbitration mailboxes, but we can see that all of this are on the 2013 Exchange server, but there is a single one here on this mailbox. So I think we should see if we could move that to our newly created database before we are removing anything, because on which database it have to be on the first one. So see if I have this move request. We can see it down here. I think we should move it to, it may be on the let's go up and see here, the first Exchange server. We have to copy this name, the system mailbox is. Let's go down again here to the arbitration. Let's set it to here. So, and we want to move it to the db01/16 database. I think we will start with this before we are deleting anything at all. So run this. What does it say? The time interval for exchange through an exception. Yeah, I will try to see what's going what went wrong here and come back. Actually, I run the same command on the Exchange server, and it seems to be okay here. Maybe it was something on the client. There was having an error, and as we can see with the get move request, it should be completed. So I think if we go back and take a look at the mailbox arbitration, let's see if it is changed. Yeah, actually I can't see any difference, but let's try to delete the, yeah, it should be okay now. So let's try to delete the two databases. If we run this, we can see what the name is. Take a copy of that first, and let's try to remove the first one. That doesn't seem to be okay. It contains one error, so maybe we still have the arbitration mailboxes inside of that. Yeah, I'm not sure how we have this. Let's yeah, I will try to move the arbitration mailbox from the 2016 database here, and again, yeah, it should be work somehow. Yeah, let's see if I have found out. If I took a look at the known database or the mailbox in the database, there wasn't any, but oh, it's up here. If I took a look at the arbitration in the default, it seems to have been moved to the DB01/16, so that should be okay. But what I have found out is that there seems to be an audit log mailbox in the database. So maybe we should try to move this also. Let's use the mailbox request here. Instead of the arbitration, let's use the audit parameter and see if we can move this request in progress, it says. So hopefully, I'm not sure. But in 2013 there wasn't this audit as default, so it may be a new thing in 2016. But I thought that they should be enabled for auditing each mailbox before there was creating anything. But so now it seems that we have moved that also. Shall we try now to see if we can remove the mailbox without any errors. Yeah, and that's look better. So great. Let's go and copy the second one. It was up here. Copy that. Put inside here. Let's run this command. So, yeah, you have to be aware of both kind of arbitration mailboxes and this audit log mailboxes, and move them from the default database on the Exchange server. So now I have removed the two default, but the files are still inside of the Exchange servers, but we can remove them later. So the next thing is that we want to try to create a new database availability group. It's because that there can't be both kind of Exchange 2013 and 2016 mailboxes in a database availability group. They have to have their own group for the different versions. So let's run the first command to see here. It have to have a witness server. I thought that on the 2016 Exchange server it should be possible to have the Exchange server point and create its own witness server, and it should do it on a client access server, actually create the folder and so on. So I will take a look at that and get back. Yeah, actually it should be possible if we take a look at this TechNet here. Let's try to see. It should choose its own database availability group IP address from the DHCP, and it should automatically create the witness server and the folder when you not specify anything. But I think we will try to see if we can point at the witness server on one of the new Exchange servers before we are trying to create it on the normal way, where I specify both the IP address and the witness server. But yeah, let's see what we can do here. Witness. It don't seem to help me with anything here. Oh, I have to stop the execution, of course. Witness server. Let's say Exchange 1/16, and let's see what it says about this. What did it say? What if creating database availability group? Yeah, hopefully it will be okay. So let's do it here with the command, and let's create. Before I'm creating, let's try to see if I can get the database availability group here from the old one. I can see I have the DAG cluster 01 with both Exchange servers inside the group. But let's try to create the new one. Yeah, it seems to be created, and now I have the new one also. So let's add the two servers to the group with the add database availability group server, and tell it which name to add the servers at. First this one. Oh, I have this error. Cannot be a member of this database and also host the file share witness for the database availability group. Okay. So we have to change that. That's great. So yeah, I think I will create the witness server at the same way I have done it before. If we go here to get database availability group and say that we will select everything, we can see I have used the AD server for my witness group. That's maybe not the best thing normally, but let's see if we can see it here. You can see here witness server and my witness directory. I will create these things, and there's also something about that we have to give it some permission. What I have to do here is that actually we should have the Exchange Trusted Subsystem group. It should be added to the administrators, and hopefully we already have done this. Let's see. Maybe it's on the built-in Exchange security. Exchange trusted members of the administrators. That seems okay. And sometime we should have a computer object. I'm not sure on where it should be. So let's see if we can remove the DAC cluster 16 and create it again. We have to run it without the what if command. Yes to all, and if we run the command get database availability groups, let's see, yeah, it's removed. And let's try to create it again. Yeah, it should probably work here, and it seems okay. So now the witness server is on the Active Directory server and in a different location than the one from the 2013. Let's try to add the first server. To the availability group. And see how it's going. Yeah, it takes some time because it of course is trying to install the Windows failover clustering component on both the Exchange Server 1, and after that we create the we want to join the other Exchange server to the availability group, it will do the same. So maybe this will require an restart before we can add it to the group. I think we will have to see what the status will be after this have been running. Yeah, it seems to went okay. So let's take the next server, the second Exchange server 2016, and add it to the database availability group with the name here, as we see. This will also install the Windows failover clustering on the Exchange server. Again, we will let it run and wait to see that it is finished. Yeah, and again, this seems to went well. Let's try to see if we can see, and here we see that they are both members now of the new database availability group, and that's great. So now we will have to add this as a copy, and let us create the copy on the other servers. So for the database 01/16, we have to create that on the second Exchange server with the activation preference number 2. So it should have the number 1 on the first server, and we will do the same with the second database, but on the opposite Exchange server. So let's run this first, and this will create the copy on the second server. Yeah, and there we can see we have to restart the Exchange information service again for adding the Mailbox database. But let's run this first, and we can restart the service in a moment, just the same way as we did after we mounted the new databases. This will again take some few seconds. Yeah, that went well too. See here, I can see that we have Exchange information service here. Let's restart both on the servers and on the both servers. Yeah, and we have the output there to see that we could follow how the status was. So let's try to see what is the copy status of the servers. Get Mailbox server and Get Mailbox database copy status. Let's run this. There will be some time before everything is okay. So let's come back later and have a status of the connection and the health of the copies we should have on the different servers. So to move the mailbox, it's in some way the same method as we used when moved the audit mailboxes. So let's try to see what we have to do here. Let's run the get mailboxes and see if we got it all. we just have to use the old one here on the 2013 servers and have to move the mailboxes to the new one on 2016. So maybe we could say get mailbox. I can do it up here. I have to point on the server. Let's say exchange 113. You want to move this to have a move request to target database, and let's move that to the DB016 database. Yeah, let's try to run this, and that should set the all into. It didn't. Couldn't be performed because object could not be found. DB1 could not be found. What is happened here? What should we say? The data. Get mailbox database. That's clearly we have to the server here. So the exchange 113. So it was the mailboxes we should have, not the mailbox database. So let's try to run it again. Let's see if we could crest this move. Seem to go well, yeah. This will point on all the users on this server and get it quiet for in a queue for moving. Let's also take the arbitration mailboxes here and move that to here. Oops, I couldn't do that. Maybe I have to point at the. Let's try to use this here. Maybe I have to point at the database instead. Nope. What does it say? Maybe it's something about. It's already been moved. Okay. Actually, it was in my first request, maybe. Just can't see it. Let's try to see on the get move request. Yeah, actually have been taking some of the system mailboxes. That's great. So let this continue. Meanwhile, we can take the second server without the arbitration, just the normal database, and move it to the second 2016 database. Yeah, we have to see what the error said. So they are in a queue also for being moved. What was this about? New mailbox has a complete move request as so before. Okay, so this is always requested for movement. So let's wait and see. You can use this get move requests to see how everything is going. Most of them are completed, some are in progress, and the last one are queued for being moved. So yeah, let's this run, and I'll come back later to see how everything is going. So let's see what is the status of the move request. We can see they are all completed. We still have something about, yeah, let's try to take a look at the get mailbox. I think we have the server EXCH1-16, the arbitration mailboxes. Yeah, we still have this, so we have to move them to the 2016. I also think that we have this. Let's sorry. Yeah, let's do it here. We have this on the second. Yeah, we have this discovery search mailbox. Also, we have to move. So let's try to see if we can first move this arbitration. It was on the first Exchange server. Yeah, exactly here. Let's move them to the first Exchange database on the 2016 server. Let's try to run this and see what it. Still an error. Yeah, of course it says it have had a request, so we have to remove this get move request, move status completed, and let's move all this. Let's see if we can have a new request after that. So let's try to get this databases, and hopefully now they will move them to the database. If we have this request, see is in the queue for moving. Let's take we had on the second 2013 database, we have a single this discovery mailbox. We have to move that. Let's move it to the second on the new 2016, and see if you can do this. So now hopefully we have this 5 last mailboxes on the old Exchange environment. We going to move to the new, and when this is done, we can get rid of the old ones. So let this run for a while until they have finished moving. Let's try to run it again and see. Yeah, everything is completed. So now we could take this move request and see, or the get mailbox, I think, and see where are all the mailboxes on the second Exchange server. Actually, we don't have much on the first. We can move that later. What about the arbitration? They are also on the 2016 Exchange server. So a lot of this should be fine now. We have moved all the databases, so hopefully now we can continue with our setup and have the users to use the new setup. As we can see, we have to change the DNS, the load balancer, and our send connectors. So let's continue with that. First, let's take a look at the DNS records. What's the services? But let's see what we have about the DNS. Actually, I don't have it here on. Oh, that's my Exchange, of course. I have to go to this one. The DNS. Let's open it on the 81 computer and see what we have in the forward lookup zone. Because we have this mail records, we have to change the addresses to the new one. We use the 237. Let's apply that, and we use the 238. Let's also update the associated pointer records for all of this, and this should be the same here. So that was the DNS. We also have to change the load balancer. Secure one. Yes. Let's go to the pfSense. And actually I don't have much to do about the Exchange itself, but for the external access to work correctly, we have to change the firewall rules. I have some aliases I have to change. You can see the IP addresses here. What is my firewall rules saying? Yeah, I use the Exchange one. I don't use this anymore, so can get rid of that. It's in use, okay. Yeah, but let's change this to as before, 7 and 8. Save it. If I want to, I can change this also. It doesn't have any means. So the second thing is that I have this load balancer. If I can remember where it is, it's actually here. So you can see I have to change for the HTTP, and you also have to we have to remove them. Okay, have to 10, it has to be the HTTPS 10.0.0.7 add, and the 8 add, and say this one. We have to change the SMTP load balancer. Again, let's remove this and get it to the new ones. So that should actually be my load balancer. And the next thing we have to do was to change our send connectors to use the, and maybe I think we should try to use the Exchange control panel to, or Exchange administration here. To see if you can set it up. I'll configure it through this under the mail flow, the send connectors, and hopefully you can change this to be removed from the old servers and set it to the new ones. You can see where it is, and let's add the new one here. Set OK, save, and this should actually be okay. So maybe we could throw an you can see I have this get send connector. We can also do it with PowerShell, but now we can run it and see what servers do we use to transport the mail flow. So that should also be changed from here now on. So the last step we need is to clean up all of our old things. So for now we can continue with the cleaning, or clean up or remove all the old things. Before we are going to remove the old Exchange installation, I like to get rid of the database availability groups, and to do that, as you can see, if we have to remove this, we have to first remove the copies, and we can remove the servers, and we can remove the cluster itself. So let's try to see if we can do this. First we remove the first copy. You can get the different things with the command we have used earlier. Let's try to remove the first one. Let's say yes to all. And hopefully it will end this part. It did. Let's remove the second copy of the other database. Again, yes to all. Remember, you can use this parameter confirm equal to false, so we don't have to answer each of this. So we could remove the server from the DAC cluster 01, the first server. Let's try to see if we can do that. So yes to all. As we can see, it will take some time here. Yeah, and you could could see it was finishing removed, so let's take the next one and remove that also. Yes to all. It's removing. Let's pause the video. And again it was also removed. Let's try to see if the groups now. That should be empty, and it is. So let's remove the group itself. Oh, we have to remember only to use the command. What if is just to see how it will go. But let's remove it. Say yes. And it should be removed now. Actually, and we only have the new 2016 database availability groups left, so that should be fine. So we can continue on our server to remove the programs and features. We can remove the Exchange itself. Press uninstall. And you just have to follow the steps all the way. PowerShell has an open file. Let's close that. Save it. And let's press the retry to see. So if it's better now. There are messages waiting in the front queues. Shadow tree. Yeah, you have to. If you are in a production environment, you have to be sure everything is okay. But let's just install it here. Test. And actually we will do the same on the second server, the second old server also of 2013. When this is finished, I will come back and we can see how it is always went and test the new setup with the 2016 servers. So as we can see, the uninstall has completed and it will have a reboot. So let's do that with the PowerShell. Restart computer, and it will come up again. Yeah, we can see it is already back here, and actually we try to go on the programs and features. We should see that Exchange have been removed. It should be possible for us to we don't want to use PowerShell for that. We can just go under the system, remove the computer from the Active Directory or domain. Let's say change to that and set it into a work group. And this should be okay. Take a while. Welcome for that. Let's do the same thing for the second 2013 Exchange server. Just let's restart if we want to that. Start now. So now the old Exchange servers should have been removed from our domain. Let's see if we can find them inside of here. That's our cluster, servers, computers. Where are they? Exchange. Yeah, now we just have to remove them from here. Yes, let's also remove the old DAG cluster. Oops. Yes, and now we have finished with cleaning up in our decommissioning our servers. So actually the setup should be fine from here. So let's try to see if we want to test the setup and that the mailbox still is functional and we can sending and receive emails and so on. So what we can do to test the environment here is to take a look at how get move request. No, that's not what we have to. We have to see what is the status of the database. Actually, yeah, we can see all the old ones are removed and the new ones are mounted and healthy, and the contact index is also healthy. So let's try to open the, shall we take the Exchange control panel first? Mail, but it has to be secure here. Yeah, let's log in with our administrator account. And let's see how this is going. Yeah. It won't work fast, I can see, but actually it was up and running. We can see the Exchange server, the databases. You can see the, and you can see where the copies are. You can see the database ability groups and so on. So seems pretty okay. Let's try to take the Outlook Web Access. And there we have it. So maybe I could try to see if I could receive an email from outside. If I send one here. The send button. Let's see if we receive anything inside here. Hopefully we will. In a moment. Can update it once. Yeah, just can see here. That's from our external email address, and we can return the answer also to the reply. Thank you very much. That's it. And hopefully I will receive it on my email address. So yeah, it seems to be okay. The migration went well, and we have now been moved from 2013 to the 2016 Exchange server that was installed on the 2016 server. So yeah, it has been taking some while. Also the last part here, the part 3, but I think we will end the setup here and say that this should be okay. So yeah, my name is Jesper Black. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully we will see you later on.